Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute bedrock of SAP's financial module, FICO. We're going to walk through the essential setup, the stuff you have to get right before anything else can happen. So, let's jump right in. Before a single transaction, before even $1 gets posted, you have to put on your architect's hat. Seriously, you are designing the financial blueprint for the entire company. This isn't just about settings. It's about building a solid foundation that ensures every number lands in exactly the right place. Here's the game plan for how we'll build this thing. We'll start with the high-level blueprint itself. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, how to structure your accounts, how to teach the system your company's calendar, how to control who can post what and when, and finally, how to make sure every single transaction gets a unique, traceable ID. All right, let's get to it. First things first, the blueprint. You know, in the world of SAP, the most central piece of this whole puzzle is what's called the company code. You can just think of it as a separate, legal company with its own set of books. Everything we build from here on out, every account, every calendar, every control, it all gets tied back to this one company code. Getting this part right is absolutely critical because it determines how all your financial data is structured and reported. This brings us to the first real pillar of our design, the accounts themselves. I mean, think about it. We need a system to classify every single financial event imaginable, right? From buying a box of paper clips all the way up to acquiring a multi-million-dollar building. So how do you possibly organize all of that? Well, the answer is the chart of accounts, or COA for short. This is basically the master index, the grand library for every financial account your company has. It gives everything a logical structure by using number ranges. So, for example, all your asset accounts might start with a 1, and all your expense accounts might start with a 4. It's a simple but incredibly powerful way to organize your entire general ledger. It's the real backbone of your report. Okay, so we've figured out what we're recording. That's a huge step. But now we need to define when we're recording it. This leads us right into our second pillar, teaching SAP about our company's unique sense of time, its financial calendar. And this is a really big deal, right? Because tons of companies don't run on a simple January to December schedule. Maybe their business year is April to March, or even July to June for retailers. SAP absolutely has to understand this specific calendar to handle things like quarterly and annual reporting correctly. And the way we do this is with something called the fiscal year variant. Don't let the name intimidate you. It's really just a simple code, a key, that tells the system everything it needs to know about your financial year. It defines how many posting periods there are, usually 12, one for each month, and, most importantly, it sets the exact start and end dates for your year. Now here is where things get really clever. Built right into this fiscal year variant is the concept of special periods. So your normal periods, 1 through 12, they line up with your regular business months. But then you have these extra periods, 13, 14, 15, and 16, that are reserved just for year-end adjustments. This means your auditors can come in and post corrections on the very last day of the year without messing up the numbers for your final month, like March. It's a brilliant way to keep your monthly reporting totally clean. The best part? You almost never have to build these from scratch. The standard practice in SAP is to just find one that's already been delivered with the system that matches what you need, like V3 for an April to March year, and simply copy it. You just go into the transaction OB29, give it your own name, and save it. Boom, you have a fully functional financial calendar in like 30 seconds.
Okay, so we've got our accounts organized and our calendar defined. But that's not quite enough, is it? We need to have a way to control exactly which parts of that calendar are open for business at any given moment. We need a gatekeeper.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You've just closed the books on April. You've sent your reports to management. The absolute last thing you want is for someone in accounts payable to accidentally post a big invoice back into that closed month. That's a huge problem. This is a fundamental financial control that you just can't live without. And the tool that acts as our gatekeeper is the posting period variant. This is what you use to lock down the past and control the present. In fact, it's a routine monthly task for the finance team to go in, officially close the last period, and then open up the current one. This is how you guarantee that transactions can only be posted where they belong. All of this control happens right here in Transaction OB52. This screen is your mission control for posting periods. It's where you very explicitly tell the system what's open and what's not. So for example, you can set it so only period 1 through period 1 of fiscal year 2023 is available. That effectively slams the door shut on every other month.
And you can get even more surgical with this. See that plus symbol? That means the period is open for every type of account. But you could, for instance, keep the period open only for vendor invoices, using account type K while it's closed for everything else. This gives you incredibly precise control, especially during that hectic month-end close process.
All right, we've got our accounts, we've got our calendar under lock and key. Now, for the third and final pillar of our financial blueprint, we have to give every single business transaction a unique, sequential, and totally traceable identity. Because let's be real, every single entry that hits your financial system, whether it's a tiny journal entry or a massive customer payment, it has to be classified and it has to get a unique document number. This is totally non-negotiable for things like audit trails and traceability. The document type is the key to this whole process. It's just a simple 2-character code, like SA for a general ledger document or KR for a vendor invoice. But this tiny code is powerful. It tells SAP what kind of transaction this is, and that, in turn, kicks off the whole process of figuring out which document number it's going to get. Now, the way this numbering works is actually a really neat 3-step flow. Let's walk through it. So, step 1. A user posts a general journal entry. The system immediately identifies it with the document type SA. Simple enough?
Okay, step 2. Now that SA document type doesn't point directly to a big block of numbers. Instead, it points to this little intermediary code called a number range key. In our example, that key is 01. This extra step is super important because it gives you flexibility. It means you could have multiple different document types all share the same sequence of numbers if you wanted to.
And then, finally, step 3. That number range key, 01, is what's actually tied to the block of numbers for the year. So every single time a new SA document gets created, SAP just goes to this range and automatically grabs the next number in line. It's sequential, it's gapless, and it's perfect for auditors. This brings us to one last, simple choice you have to make for each number range. Do you want it to be internal or external? Honestly, for 99% of transactions, you're going to use internal. That's where you just let SAP do its thing and assign the numbers automatically. The external option, where a user has to type in the number manually, is really only for very special cases, like when you're migrating old data from another system and you need to keep the original document numbers. And there you have it. It's as simple as that. By architecting your chart of accounts, defining your fiscal and posting period variants, and then setting up all your document types and number ranges, you have successfully laid a solid, controlled, and completely auditable foundation for your entire financial system. You see, with this framework locked in, your system is no longer just some data entry tool. It's now a powerful engine ready to process every transaction with precision and generate the clean, reliable, trustworthy financial data you need to actually drive business decisions. The blueprint is done. Now the fun part, the analysis, can really begin.